Welcome to Big Hoss's Tailgate.
Cool. And we're good to go. So what's going on? I'm here with Mr. Scott Kelley. A very good friend sent you my way.
Yes, Scott Reed. He highly recommended you, man.
Yeah, something with you Scots, man. I think that's what it is.
I honestly never. I've been doing comedy off and on since 2011, and I have never met this many Scots until the past few months. It's been a crazy amount.
Yeah, it was like that for work. Like I met a bunch of guys named Dave, and I was like, I didn't think Dave was this popular of a name, and they're all like my age or a little bit older. I'm like, I didn't know this was that popular of a name.
Oh, dude, I knew like 12 Daves growing up in our neighborhood.
Oh,
My running
really?
gag. Yeah, in our childhood, all the kids. There was like 12 neighborhood friends that were named Dave.
I
So
I was thinking about this the other day because I think it was at work today. I was like at like during our morning meeting where you're like you just don't focus. And I'm sitting there,
yeah.
I'm like, who came up with the name Dave? Like, what is the origins of this name? Like, I just sat there, was thinking about stupid shit. Uh,
Yeah, that happens a lot at staff meetings for sure, man. I am there with you. I zone out within the first few minutes. It's the same typical stuff, man. You know?
yeah, it's like morning announcements. It's like you got nothing. If it was that big of a deal, you'd send an email. There's nothing to announce.
Yeah,
Oh
I
man,
totally get that.
so you're from Altoona, PA, right?
Yes, I'm from Altoona, PA. Yeah,
I met a
yeah.
couple dudes from Altoona.
Which one do you meet?
So I met this guy in Nashville actually. He was on The Voice. Uh
Jimmy Mowry? That,
no, I think it's like Josh something. I can't think of his last name. He was like a little dude, big beard. Hmm.
Josh Gallagher? I think that's,
Yes, Josh
yeah,
Gallagher.
yeah. I met him through the open mics. And I didn't even know, like, he couldn't talk about his filming of that thing. So I had no idea. And then the next thing I know, I see him on The Voice. And then, like, oh, I just saw this guy in the open mics last week. Wait a second here.
Oh,
So,
snap. Yeah, I met him in Nashville one year. I was talking to him and like my buddy brought me to a songwriter show. And so I started talking to him and he's like, "Where are you from?" Like Pittsburgh. He's like, "Pittsburgh, I'm from Altoona." I'm like, "What are the odds?" Yeah. So the pizza's a lie, right?
with the Altoona style pizza,
Yeah.
that, oh my, that thing's disgusting. Have you tried it?
No, because I would fight somebody in a heartbeat if they gave that to me. As a big man on myself, if you hand me pizza like that and I will fight.
Dude, it's disgusting. I've never tried it. I have no ambition to try it, honestly. That was just god awful.
Yeah.
And a lot of places, it is a big thing in this town. I know a lot of people make fun of it. It's so awful. A lot of places have a spit on it, but it doesn't matter. It still
Ugh.
looks horrible and disgusting.
Yuck. I don't know. I like traditional pizza. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe I'll let you slide on stuffed crust because that's just added goodness.
Yeah, you know what? Talk about pizza. I had to go for training in 2019 for 3 months away from my family and in Scranton, and they love their pizza burnt there. I
Mm.
did not know this. This is not something I knew. So whenever I got my first pizza slice, like, oh, you guys burned it. They're like, yeah, that's how we do it here. I'm like, I don't want my pizza burnt. Where can I get pizza that's not burnt? And they're like,
Like,
they start laughing at me. They're like, good luck. I'm like, okay.
yeah, they
But
just look
luckily,
at you like, not here.
yeah, one place actually made a slice of pie pizza for me that wasn't burnt. I would just buy it, and that's what I would do. They were cool about it, but everywhere else was like, nah, we're not doing anything for you. I was like,
Nice.
I'd never heard of a place loving burnt pizza.
Yeah,
Never.
that's like that. It just seems like no, like you tear that part off, scrape it off. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. That's
Yeah.
ugh.
But
So how long you been doing? Oh, what's that?
no, I was just gonna say my wife's coworker is from Scranton, and she heard about that, and she's like got offended. She was like, "Wait a second." She's like, you don't love burnt pizza? We love burnt pizza." I'm like, "No, we do not. I think you're a minority in that."
Yeah,
So,
100% you are. Oh man. So how long you been doing comedy for?
I so I've been doing it since 2011. It's been off and on for a while there. Um, I did for 2011 to 2015 completely all those years. Then my first son was born. took a break for a while, came back in 2018, and then COVID happened. And then I was off until started up again in 2022, and I've been doing straight since from there.
Nice. I started around May of 2023. So I'm
Okay,
coming up on 2 years. And
nice. Where are you doing up there now? Because I haven't been up to the Pittsburgh scene since 2015 was the last time I was up there doing actively doing open mics up there.
well, I mean, like I mean, there's still open mics going and stuff. So like it's still like a decent scene. Um I mostly like I'm more like doing the podcast stuff, but I still like to do stand up and stuff. I still get like do shows and stuff. But like my
Yeah.
focus is like kind of like split between good at stand up and doing this. So
Okay.
yeah, but I mean, my buddy, like I know a couple buddies that run a mic on Mondays at this one barbecue place, and they have like music mixed in between, but like the music acts are like usually it's like three people. So like they space like, okay, here's a chunk of comics, music act, chunk of comics, music act.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
what's that?
So that's cool, man. And there's a lot of places like that. I don't know if the beer is it the Beehive, the Beer Hive that used to go up there and do it there. I don't know if they
Mm, yeah, there's no mic there no more.
okay, that's oh my god, that's going back then. Okay. Heck, I was doing it whenever the improv used to allow open mics there.
I
That's
remember that, like, because I remember going to the improv like 2012 or something, and I remember seeing the ads for like the open mic there, but then like they're like, yeah, they said like it's not a big business draw, so they don't do it. I'm like, damn.
it was such an awesome feeling to use that stage and get up there and do that whenever you were so brand new and green and like just felt so cool, you
Hmm.
know? That sucks that they got rid of that.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest complaint I think would have to be that they have the screen behind you now where it says improv versus the actual metal sign in the brick.
I love the bricking. I am bummed about that, honestly. I saw David Tell last year, and that was my first time going back to the actual improv there, and I was like, "What? What happened here? What's this?" Yeah,
Yeah, it kind of makes I don't know. I like the physical thing being there. You know what I mean? Like I don't
yeah,
mind Zoom podcasts just because like it's convenient because like oh hey you can talk to someone from like I had a couple guys from on LA on and I just like did it via Zoom. But I'm like it's there's something about being in person like you can crack a beer and like drink with somebody and stuff.
I agree, man. That's why I told you the thing. I prefer doing this stuff in person, but like I have no idea when I'm going to be up there. It's like a 2 hours and depending on traffic, 10 minutes, 20 minutes drive.
Yeah.
So
That's like I was like I don't want you to drive down here and have nothing else to do like, got to give you something else to do, you know what I mean? And plus we all work till like 5. So,
yeah, yeah, same here. I'm till 5 as well, which is grueling whenever I don't know if you have kids, but if you have kids, man, it sucks whenever they're doing like school activities outside, football, basketball, what have you, and it just getting off the 5 sucks. Everything happens at 4.
yeah. Yeah,
So
4 like 3 or something. I
yeah,
have buddies that like they Uber for a living or they do other things like during the day, and they'll be like, "Hey, anybody want to hop on like Xbox for a little bit?" I'm like, "Guys, I'm at work. Like it's noon at work. Like what are you guys doing?"
yes, yes. I was out of date with that stuff. I got played my PlayStation 5 3 years ago, and I was like, I haven't played Call of Duty in like 8 years. I'm gonna see what's going on. It is vastly different from where I left off with,
Oh
man.
yeah,
I got in and like I'm in this helicopter and the multiplayer, and I just like, all right, so hit X and you jump out, and I hit my parachute button, and I parachuted the whole way down, and then it was the end of the match.
oh nice,
I did not know what I was doing. I didn't know like you weren't supposed to hit that soon. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Everything was vastly different. I felt like the
yeah,
old and playing these games.
yeah. We played during me and my buddy used to play like during COVID, but then like I don't know. Eventually, like the cheaters came in and it ruined the game for a bit. Then they tried to fix it, and it was still wasn't working. And it was just like, oh, this is. I guess we were only good for that one block of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is weird getting taken out by like kids who are like 7 years old and they're cussing at you. I'm like, wait a second, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm like, why is your dad not hitting you for that right now? Like, you know what I mean? Just kidding.
Exactly.
I'm not condoning child abuse.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I'm just thinking like back in the '90s, like, oh yeah, my dad would have came in and just like hit me, like knock it off.
Dude, I remember one time. I was swearing so much, like by my parents' house, like, there is like this church where we played football, kickball, what have you. And I was swearing so much this one time. This mom came out, grabbed me by my ear, and said, "Where do your parents live?" I took her to some random dude's house, and nobody knocked on the door. She goes, "Well, I'll be back to check on your parents and tell them how much of a bad kid you are." It was some random parents' house. I have no
That would have
clue.
been so awkward though if that dude opened the door and been like, I don't know this kid, and just like shut the door again.
I was taking a risk, man. It could have gone 50-50. It went in the positive of the 50.
Hell yeah. So what do you do like when you're not doing like stand up? Like,
Writing, honestly, like I have a script writing partner, so we write a lot of scripts and everything. And
oh,
we
nice.
wrote one. I wrote myself at first, and then I gave it to him. And he's like, "Where has this been?" He's like, "So we decided to retool it a lot, and it was called Timothy, God's Other Son. And it was basically about God didn't just have Jesus; He had this guy named Timothy. So now the whole end of the world kind of thing's happening, and Jesus doesn't want to come back. So now it's Timothy's turn to rise, the unwanted child. We got all the way to Danny McBride, actually.
Oh,
So
really?
I wrote it for him. I wrote the character of Timothy, but then I found the show Righteous Gemstones. I was like, oh shit, that's like kind of close to like what he's doing there.
I just
But
watched the new episode last night, and you know how like you're trying to show like your brother something or like show somebody like, oh, dude, you should check out this show, right?
yeah,
And it was literally the gayest episode of the show. And I didn't
uh,
realize that. So like my brother goes, "What kind of show are you watching?" I was like, "It's not really like this. Like it's just this one episode, dude. Like I mean, it's in there. I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna see a lot of stuff, but that's not what the basis of the show is."
no, I honestly, my the first season is my favorite season of that Righteous Gemstones. I mean, there was the mystique behind it. The humor was more there. Like, season 2 and 3 have been okay. I have not got to see seasons 4 yet. I haven't watched any episodes. So
Okay. Yeah, they just dropped I think there's 3 out right now for season 4, but this is the final season.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I like season 3 like cuz it was cool they introduced like the other like his sister and whatever, like that was kind of cool. I'm trying to like be non-spoiler as I can and refer to it, but it was like his sister-in-law.
yeah. No, there
Yeah.
was a cool backstory. The whole camp and everything. Again, I won't give spoilers to people, but the whole camp place they went to and everything. That was
Hmm.
interesting. It was. It had funny episodes. It was good. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I just like. I don't know why. Just that first season. I think it was. I don't know. Maybe it was a little bit more darker than the rest of the seasons were.
Felt more
Everything's.
realistic. Like
Yeah.
you kind of bought it more, but then like when season 2 and 3 happened, then they started doing the whole resort and you'd see the CG stuff and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's kind of taking me out of it. Like it's getting too big to do. If they would have kept it like a small, like not like a maybe a worldwide thing, and they just kept it small in scale, it might have been better. But I think they went too big. I think.
Well, yeah, they're trying to go big or go home kind of situation. These guys have so much money and then all that money for the church. Yeah, but it went overboard. So
Yeah, that's why I think that it just kind of went like way too extreme, and I think that's why people are like, it's kind of hard to connect with this. Like, we can accept the fact you have money, but when you're showing like 3 private jets and a huge like monster truck, you start to lose people. I think. I don't
yeah,
know.
I guess do these people act like that? All those rich, mega pastor churches. I'm assuming they did. They have the big houses. They have all those jets. They have all that stuff. How far
It
off is it?
seems a little like spot on. Like it seems a little too spot on with some of the stuff that happens in there, and I'm like, maybe somebody knows something. Like somebody has to know something about these mega pastors that they're doing that.
I know I saw an interview of Danny McBride where he talked about it, like his parents are highly religious growing up. Like his mom would do like sock puppets and stuff like that for the church kids,
Mhm.
and he'd be a part of it and everything. And they're still very religious.
What was your first thing that you saw Danny McBride in?
It was what's that movie? The Lonely Island guys. Oh,
Oh, Hot
where
Rod.
Hot Rod. That was the first time I saw him. Yes.
I was gonna say something else, but then I was like, oh, I forgot he was in Hot Rod.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like Tropic Thunder because he was the explosives guy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then I was gonna say after that it's got to be what was that? Express, Pineapple Express.
Yeah. Pineapple Express. Yeah, he had
Yeah.
that, and then I can't remember what else he had. Did that segue into Kenny Powers, Eastbound and Down? I think it might have at that point.
Oh, I did. I just started watching Eastbound and Down. Like it
Oh,
was. I've never watched it all the way through. So like I
oh,
was like on like the first season and was like, this show is wild.
it's up my alley with that kind of humor, man. Like I like that style and how aggressive he is and everything. Just no fucks given kind of thing.
I did meet a guy that was on like in the show for a little bit. He's a comedian from North Carolina, John Reap.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like he appeared like in the later seasons, I guess. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll check it out just because I know him, and I was like, oh my god, this show's great. It is
That
very Patrick Mahomes though.
yeah. That and did you see his other show, Vice Principals, that followed right after that?
I catch clips of that on like Facebook, and I was like, oh my god, I need to watch this show because I didn't know that's where the sister kind of came from.
Yes. Oh, she's freaking batshit crazy. You think
Oh
she's
my god.
gemstones? Take it to 11 in that show. Seriously.
I think it's the one where she goes, "Hey, like I'm pregnant," and he's like, "What?" And then she's just like, "I'm just kidding." He's like, "You don't joke about that."
Yeah. So Vice Principals, it only 2 seasons, man, but man, is it worth it? Definitely worth it. I'm
Walton
only giving
Goggins though, he's great in all those shows though.
he is, and they give him such leeway too. He writes, produces, acts, edits, and all those shows. That's awesome creative freedom. He gets to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, have you done any film projects like yourself? Like I don't really know much about you. Scott sent me your way and was like, "Hey, you should have this guy on your podcast." I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Like I'm down to talk to anybody.
Dude, no, nobody knows who like I really am. I just got lucky with that special thing. But like, I used to do sketches and everything back in the heyday, from 2011 to I think 2016 was the last time I did anything. I used to do these just sketches, this weird shit. I put them online. I'm sure anyone can find them on YouTube. Some of them are up there, some of them are not. I did a sketch called Elf on the Shelf. I made fun of that Elf on the Shelf thing the kids do. I had
Mhm.
a song for it and everything. It just got pulled this past Christmas. The owners of that whole thing wrote to me and were going to sue me if I didn't tear it down.
Oh man, like it's like, dude, it was up all this time. You're just now catching it.
Yeah, yeah. I was like me like I had like 35,000 views and 100 some likes. It wasn't anything crazy, but like I saw other videos are mocking Elf on the Shelf that have millions of views. I was like, you didn't go after them, you went after me. All
Maybe it's
right.
because you made a song and everything. That's why.
Possibly. Where they said, so basically, I think where I went wrong is I actually called it Elf on the Shelf. So I would have called it something a little bit different. I might have gotten
Mm,
away with it, but because I didn't do that, that's where they kind of got me.
that's fair. Who did you like follow like early YouTube? Because I remember being in high school when YouTube just started like really taking off.
Ah, man, what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2010.
I'm an '04, so I didn't. The YouTube didn't even come out when
Oh,
I graduated,
okay.
and it was still that rudimentary Facebook thing that they they had back then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was
My
wondering because there's a bunch of YouTubers we used to follow and stuff like they would do prank calls and like do weird sketches and stuff. I'm like I was just wondering who inspired you to do those.
Uh, going back, man, you let's talk about Jerky Boys. You ever listen to Jerky Boys, like the old stuff from back in the heyday?
I have, yeah, I've heard. I think it was a movie. Like my
I
brother
never
was telling me about it.
never saw the movie, but I have the albums.
Oh
But
wow.
those like it was like that Adam Sandler CDs from back in the '90s. You know, um, that was a big his. You ever listen to his first two albums, Adam Sandler's albums? Especially the second one, What the Hell Happened to Me?
I have, yeah, I've heard bits and pieces of them. Which one had the I ran over the Taco Bell dog? Is that one of the early ones, or is that like one that was later?
It might it's either the first one or it was a later one. I don't. It wasn't on the What the Hell Happened to Me one. They're all gonna laugh at you is the first one. It might have been on that one. I think.
I think so.
Don't quote me on that one, but yeah, it was that and like Jim Carrey and In Living on In Living Color, and doing his Fire Marshal Bill and everything else that he did back then. Like, those were the cornerstones. Like for me, the '90s was like the big comedy theme for me because I obviously I'm born in '86. I didn't really remember much of the '80s, but the '90s, man, I remember a whole bunch of stuff. And then the later half of the '90s, going in the early 2000s, when the whole, the Will Ferrell stuff started happening, Judd Apatow, all
Hmm.
that stuff influenced me with that stuff.
I miss those movies in like the worst way because I just started watching like movies from like I was just seeing a movie. It was like it was I think it was Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, sisters. Like I was at
Yes,
the bar and it was on, and I was like, man, I miss when they used to make movies like that, like just straight comedy movies, and they were actually funny, and it was they didn't go too far in either way. Like you know what I mean? Like they didn't go after anybody, just they were actually funny. And
yeah.
now it's like they don't even do anything, try anymore. It feels.
No, the last one I saw, I liked it for its effort and trying to push it. Was I don't know if you saw the movie with called No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence. It came
Yeah,
out.
I thought that was all right. Like it was kind of like that. I was like, that's one of the better ones that's come
Yeah,
out.
I was like, okay, this is coming out. Maybe we'll have a renaissance of these kind of movies, and it'll just get better from here. And then that was that movie, and then we haven't had anything really since.
Like you would think the streaming companies would try to put more out, but I guess Amazon's kind of doing that because they did that one with Zac Efron and John Cena.
Yeah, Ricky's to Nikki. That wasn't that bad. It was
Yeah,
okay.
I haven't seen it yet. I just see clips from like was it William H. Macy looks like he's air sucking dicks the whole time.
Yeah,
He just kept going like this when he was talking.
yeah.
He's like, "Oh
It's
my
a
God,
problem.
I'm double fisting."
It wasn't bad, man. It had its moments. There could have been way worse scenes I've seen, honestly. So I don't think it was that horrible. Um, I enjoyed it for my time that I watched it. I laughed. There were moments I laughed at. Even that Netflix movie that Bill Burr did, which is old
Old
or something like
dads.
that. Yeah, Old Dads. I didn't mind that. I know some people hated it, but I didn't think it was horrible.
I thought it was pretty funny, and actually, it's like it makes sense because I know so many people that feel the way he does. Like and all the way those dads talk, like I've heard my buddy say the exact same thing, and that's just because like they have like an older mindset. It feels like.
Yeah, dude, my generation is the last generation to know like life before the internet. You know, the internet didn't come around until I was like 10 or 11, and then we got internet in the household. It was a
Yeah,
whole
see, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't grow. It's like I we had internet at school, but like when I went home, I lived out in the country. Like internet's expensive. We're not getting it. So it was like, okay, cool. I guess I'm watching 2, 4, and 11. So it's like I grew up. It's like so you like when you hear old guys talk, I'm like, I feel that, and they're like, how? I'm like, I we have the same living conditions. It's fine.
yeah. No, I remember not to bring up 9/11, but you talk about the internet at school. Like our computer classroom, I was locked down in during 9/11, and we all like started printing out porno pictures with our teacher during which is the worst time. This is 9/11, one of the worst times in American history. Our teacher's upset.
Actually, one would argue it's the best time because everyone's distracted.
That is true.
Like, yeah, I
She
mean,
found
I see the reasoning in the plan. I can't condone it, but I understand. Let's put it that way.
we us three guys started doing it, and I forgot to like swipe mine off the printer, and she saw it during all this was going on, and she banned the printers from rest of us the whole entire time for the rest of the school year. Granted,
Like, understandable.
yeah, understandable. Yeah,
High
she was.
risk, high risk, low reward. It's fair.
I remember her saying, "Does anyone have? Do you guys even have any sympathy right now? Because it was 9/11, and here we're putting porn pictures." Yeah,
I can't do
all right.
nothing about it. You know what I mean? It's like I can't do nothing. What am I supposed to do? I was like, you're asking me to watch people die on TV right now. That's what you're asking me to do. I'm watching life get made.
Exactly. There we go. Dude, I remember like I wasn't that bad kid in school, but like it was crazy to see like all the bad kids, their parents are coming and getting them from school. My parents never got me. I'm like, what the fuck?
I said the same thing. I remember being in school. I remember watching like parents come to the school or whatever, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, because they never told us. And then I get home and I'm like, all right, it's time to watch cartoons or whatever. And like my mom's like, there was a terrorist attack today. I'm like, cool. Is that why everybody left at school? And they're like, we live out in the middle of the country. They're not going to bomb you. Thanks. I'm glad that I'm glad that the terrorists did think like you. And you're like, you know what? They're fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, great. So you had the same experience as I did, and you felt that. Like I, yeah, I was.
Yeah, like I
See?
want to go home. Like I don't want to sit here and watch everybody get freaked out.
When I asked my parents, they didn't even give me a reason. They're just like, "We'd never thought of that." I'm like, "Oh, you never thought of it?
Like
Okay."
my dad, I give the excuse because I'm like, okay, well, he was a truck driver, so it's kind of like I can't really, dump the load and go get you. Like that made sense. But my mom cleaned houses. I'm like, you have no excuse. You could just easily be like, hey, I don't know if you've seen the TV, but the dirt's gonna still be here. I think. You know what I mean? Like it'll be fine.
So where are your comedy influences?
Me, so I'm a big Chris Farley guy. Like I loved Chris Farley as a kid growing up. I'm also a big Robin Williams fan,
Oh
which
yeah,
some people are kind of like maybe not the best like stand-up choice, but he's done specials. It's still considered like one of the best, but
his Broadway special is one of my favorites.
oh, see, I like the one from the 80s. Um
Live
Live
from the
at the
Met.
Met.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's one of my favorite ones cuz I listened to just the audio of it at the time. And I was
nice.
like, if you close your eyes, you forget it's him and he's just going into character. Like he never breaks character kind of thing.
If you are a fan of Robin Williams, there is an album on iTunes. I found this 3 years ago because I have all of his stuff on DVD. I was like, "What is this?" It was an album only. It's all new material. He doesn't have anywhere else.
Because I know they did one where it was like the weapons of mass destruction was his last special.
Yes.
And then they released like I guess like were ones where he went to a club and was kind of just testing the material and recorded it. And that's the stuff they were releasing out. So like you can hear different variations of bits, but it's not the same. Like you know what I mean? Like it's still different, but you can hear like the same jokes.
Yeah, I'm not sure when this stuff was recorded. Um, but I definitely never heard it anywhere else though. Um,
Hmm.
maybe on YouTube bootlegs, but like not on official recording though.
But how about you? What's your some of your influences? Because I know you
My
said like you grew up in the time of Will Ferrell and all those guys, but
my honestly was like the one-liner guys, like your Mitch Hedberg, Stephen Wright, SNL with Jack Handy, and I have his books too actually. David Tell, like those were the my guys I understood, that I really liked a lot.
see, my
Now,
brother, he's like that's a huge reference among each other. They always do that Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy, and they would
yeah,
just like always do that back and forth.
yes, I love that. His books are great. I don't know if you ever read them, but there's a lot of good stuff in them.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out who it was. I didn't know if it was a guy that just made like it was a character they made up for the show. So I actually had no idea who that actually was until like way later.
Oh, same here. Because pre-internet days, that was the height of the '90s whenever they were doing that stuff in SNL. And so I just thought it was just some character they made up named Jack Handy. And until it wasn't until I think 2009 where I was just surfing the internet and I was like, wait a second, this is a real guy? He has books? Oh man, I thought they made that up.
Yeah, it's kind of like when they that would almost be like in the seven. Well, no, not really, because they you actually did get to see Albert Brooks in the '70s, because he'd always do the short films to like give to SNL and be like, here, go ahead and use that to fill a slot, I guess.
Short films is a loose term with his. They were like 11, 12 minute long.
Yeah, so I think he's like released like 20-minute ones, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Oop, it's telling me we're almost running out of time on the Zoom thing, so we might have to. Oh, okay, I got little less than 10 minutes, so we're good.
No. So yeah, as far as I could put a special out here on Prime Video called Word of Mouth, and I it's just kind of a workshop of many years worth of stuff combined in one. The taping was an hour and 20 minutes long, and got it down in editing to 30 minutes just because I felt like people don't know who I am, so it's easier to digest something that's 30 minutes versus here's an hour and 20 of someone you don't know.
Hmm.
So did feel like cutting my children up and everything. And I was like, oh, I like that joke. But I gotta cut stuff. It
Yeah, but I
sucked,
mean,
man.
you usually like cut the chunks up and like release them separately, right?
Yeah, I could cut. I mean, I could cut the special like up, but I mean, like the whole shebang when it was the hour and 20 minutes long, and I cut it down to 30 minutes. Like it just sucked cutting all those jokes out. It's interesting. Like people are like who went to the taping are like, "Where's that joke at?" Because they seen the final version. Like, I like that joke. And it seems like a lot of the jokes that people liked from the taping were the ones that were cut from the special.
You're like, all right, guys, you'll get a director's cut. Like, give him a Snyder cut later. You know what I mean?
One did ask for that. No joke. One was like, "Hey, do you like? Can I just like have the hour and 20 version?" I was like, "I don't know, man."
That'd be like if someone owned that version, it'd be kind of like owning the Star Wars Holiday Special. Like, okay, no one else has this. You have that. It's yours. It's very special to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, just show for screenings once a year and be like, yeah, that's all you're getting.
I honestly I like the fact that I didn't have to burn all my material though. That was nice to know too. So I still have stuff to rely on, moving forward. That was
Yeah,
great. So actually, David tells when he actually gave me the advice. When I saw him in April in the improv last year, I was talking to him afterwards for a good while, and and I didn't mention to him I was doing a special. I just didn't want to. My wife's
yeah,
the one who mentioned it to him, and but it was nice he did because like he kind of wasn't going through the motions, being nice with me. But when she said that to him, like he like perked up. And he's like, really? He started talking to me about all this stuff, and he was like so generous. He's the one who said like, cut it down to 30 minutes. No one knows who you are. 30 minutes. Just give him that. I'm like, all right. I'm not gonna say no to that advice. You're one of my
that's fair.
heroes.
I mean, he only put out two specials. I think. Yeah, he
Uh,
only did one special, right?
wait, two. There was the HBO one, the Comedy Central one, and now the Netflix one. So three
Oh,
specials.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then he
so I
had
mean,
two.
so I'm like, think of how many great specials like could have been made of the material in between those specials. Because
Oh, I
when was
know.
his last one?
Oh God, 10 years. It was 2014 was the last one till our close to 10 because it was 2020. Wait, no, yeah, 2024 last year on Netflix. Yeah, 10 years time, man.
Yeah, so you figure then and he only did I think what 30 minutes, 35.
35 and then just like 10 minutes of just random weirdness stuff.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, it's didn't even give us a full hour yet. Like, and so that it's like, what is this man hiding? Give because you see him at the improv, it was a 30-minute thing, or was it like a full
Yep, yeah,
hour?
he did 30 minutes of material that was not on that special, and then he did 30 minutes of crowd work. So
Oh,
that's what
nice.
he
That's
brought
gotta
up.
be hard.
Oh, I know. He for the first 15 was just him. In the last 15, he brought up like the other comics from the night, even the local people too that were comics, and then just had them try to rip the crowd. So he was cool about it.
Yeah, because that would make you like that would like ooh, I'd be tense the whole time because I'm like, oh, you don't want to look unfunny in front of the master here.
No, it's interesting. No one got the joke, and I laughed about it. My wife's like, "What was so funny about it?" I was like, "I'll tell you later." So basically, the one guy who was his opener for him, that he brings on tour with him, he wasn't doing so hot with the crowd work stuff. And then out of nowhere, Dave Attell just says, "Ryan hates coffins," and I was like, "Oh, I get it, because he's being buried alive right now because he's not doing great with the crowd work." Oh, I got it.
That's a good one. Just sneaks it in there for him.
Yeah. No one laughed. I was seriously the only one laughing. Like, I got it. Like that. All right. So I got that. You could tell Ryan, that guy Ryan, he was like, yeah, I gotta do better here.
Did you
But
ever watch Bumpin' Mikes?
yes. I'm in Jeff Ross.
Yeah,
Yep.
we were watching it like me and one comic, Josh Rittenauer, we were watching it at his house. And then like during the middle of it, this Bruce Willis shows up. It's like what is Bruce Willis doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember they had Paul Rudd on there at one point too.
Oh, really? Yeah, I think I just caught the beginning. Like
It
I think it was
might have
like the
been,
first part.
I think, 3 episodes, I think, or two or something like that. It was one of them. They spotted him. He was drunk and everything. They brought him up anyways.
So like do you have a hard time like watching like specials? Like
Uh, Pre obviously stand up, no. And I think the first few years of doing stand up, I didn't have a problem with it. But now I'm just get so analytical that and I'm not laughing really. I'm just more like analyzing their joke structures and how they formed it.
yeah, it's like there's times it's like, well, I'll go to the improv and it's like I feel bad because I'll be listening to somebody that I want to hear, but it's like I'm not really laughing because I'm just trying to like hear what they're saying and how they're saying it. And I'm
I
like, but I feel bad sometimes because it's like I should be laughing and it is funny, It's just
Yeah,
that I'm thinking about it.
yeah. I definitely get pegged now as that silent laugher guy. Like you never laugh, you never let it out. I was like, well, I'm like thinking about the joke. I'm like, and also sometimes I think, oh, I see a way they could went in this direction. They didn't go in that direction. You know,
Mm. Yeah, I was
analyze.
just, oh, sorry, go ahead.
They analyzing it that way. I know Anthony Jeselnik said he does it. He'll watch specials and see what the current comedians are talking about, and he'll just find jumping points off of their stuff to build off on his stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I was listening to Sam Talent. He was on Rogan, and he was talking about. They were asking him like, "Oh, do you watch specials?" And he's like, "I try not to watch other comedians just because I don't want to accidentally take something from them that I heard."
Yeah,
Which is like that's a big fear for me because it's like you think of something funny and you're like, "Did I think of this or did I hear this from somewhere?" And then you start getting paranoid sometimes. I've done that where it's like, "Wait a minute, did I hear this from my buddy, or is this actually something I came up with?"
did you ever have the moment where you wrote something and then like down the road you see like another comedian is like famous wise is doing pretty much that exact same joke and like, oh shit, I gotta cut this now.
Yeah, it happened to a friend of mine. He had a joke about like 9/11 or something, and he was telling this joke, getting a good response from it, and then he was just like, "Well, can't tell that joke now." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "I just heard a famous comic tell it on a special," and I'm like, "Ah, that sucks." So he's
It
like,
does.
"Yeah, I have to cut that one."
In my earlier years, I had a bit about wife beaters and why they're called wife beaters and stuff like that. And then Louis C.K. was on one. I don't know which one it was, and he was on SNL. But he
Hmm.
did a very spot on close to like what I was saying. And I never looked at my wife like, well, that's done. I can't say that anymore. It's over.
So I got about a minute and 50 left. Give me one sec. Can I stop the meeting and then I'll
Yeah.
send you another link? Give me
Yep.
one sec.
On Zoom calls, I've been on Zoom calls with people before, and that's never happened. It never like came up in all in Spanish and wanted me to know how like the rating of the call went.
Mm. I mean,
I don't know.
hopefully I wasn't speaking Spanish this whole time. And you're like, and you're probably speaking Spanish to me, and it's like, wait a minute, like it's just our computer. I don't know. That was just a weird thought I had. So what do you
Yeah,
like to do other than like I know you do writing and stuff. Like, what do you guys do when you're not being dad, and like what do you like to do in your
my
spare time?
own personal life, man. Like I'm a huge movie person, movie and TV person. A lot of movies, a lot of TV shows. I got back into gaming when COVID happened, all that lockdown stuff. So I got back into gaming and been doing a lot of that lately anymore.
Nice.
Uh,
What you playing?
uh, yeah, I do a lot of like those horror games where you have kind of like choose how the outcomes are going to go.
Oh,
There's
okay.
the Corey was the one I did recently, and now I'm doing one called Until Dawn. Messing around with that.
They're
Uh,
actually coming out with a movie with it this year.
yeah, it's definitely different from what the actual game is, but they did take it in a unique place, at least from what I can tell from the trailers.
Yeah, that's the guy who it's the guy who made the Shazam movies.
Oh,
It's it's not I don't want to say Sandberg. It's like something it's like David F. Sandberg or something.
yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Goldberg, not Goldberg. No, I think it's Sandberg.
yeah. But he's a guy he did the two Shazam movies. He was supposed to be directing Until Dawn. But like he got to start doing that Lights Out, I think.
Yeah, yes, he did. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like okay, like I mean this is his genre, so let him go, see what he does.
It looked interesting. Definitely creepier than what the game wasn't. So far, isn't as creepy. It's just more. It's a lot of mysteries, but they definitely added a layer of creepiness in that. At least from the trailer that I saw, that's definitely different from the game. Did you ever play the game?
No, see, I'm a pussy when it comes to horror games. Like, I was playing Resident Evil 3, and there was some mission where, like, I think it was one of the things that crawls on the ceiling or whatever, and it drops down and gets you.
Yeah,
And I was like, it got me the first time and scared me. I said, you know what? Nope, I don't need to play this. And I just shut it off and played something else.
I get it. Not a lot of people do. And I'm really, I can't really, for my video game buddies, I can't really talk about that with them because they don't do that genre just like you. The other thing I do, like I'm a huge sucker for those 2D scrolling beat 'em ups, especially they're kind of like been coming back lately, ever since that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game that came out a few years ago.
I just played that. I just went and got the Cowabunga collection. Like it was like the PS Plus like monthly membership or whatever. And I
Yeah,
was playing it. I was like, man, this. I remember playing this in the arcade. Like this was fun.
it's fun. That's why I'm just those games. I'm a sucker for. I'm at that age now. I hate to say it, where I am a sucker for things that reminds me of like growing up, like music, movies, video games. If it reminds me of that, I'm a sucker for it.
Go buy. You have to get Broforce then.
Broforce, I never heard of that.
It looks like it's like a little 8-bit thing, but it basically is a rip on 80s action movies, like any type of action movie. So like
Okay,
the Men in Black are in there, except they're like the bros in black, and it's like Ram Bro and
okay.
Brobo Cop. Yeah, it's it's absolutely insane. It's just a little like you get one shot, you're dead. So like you have to like basically just be shooting the whole time, and like everyone like Chuck Norris is in there like three different times playing three different characters.
That's awesome. I never heard of this. Is it on the PlayStation?
Yeah, I think it came out like 2014 or whatever. But like the villains, like you start off fighting mercenaries, then I think you fight demons, then you fight aliens. Like it's crazy, and the aliens, of course, look like Alien.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they even snuck in like the female action heroes. Like there's a Ripley, but like it's like something like something with bro in it.
That's awesome. I played an underground game. God, I think going back to 2012, 2013. It was like Mortal Kombat, but it was all like the horror people. Like, there's Jason versus Freddy, there's Pinhead, and all these people versing each other. Just in Mortal Kombat style. I forget what it's called now, but you could only get it through this dude who had a website. He built it himself. It played flawlessly
Some of
because
those
of
games that people build themselves are like better than half the indie games you play out there.
oh
And it's
yeah.
all only on computer. I'm like, this, I'm not committing that much. Like I don't need to build $1,000, $3,000 computer to play a game.
No, I'm cool with the console, man. I got the kids have the Switch, and I got the PS5, man.
Yeah, but the best thing about them having Switch is you can go back and play those old like GameCube games and like the NES games.
Oh, I still have all mine. I have all my old video game systems from my childhood and the games for them.
Oh, nice. Was you a PlayStation or was you an N64 guy?
N64.
I was a PlayStation. So like my brother was playing Tomb Raider a lot. I don't think
Okay.
that wasn't. Yeah, I think that was a PlayStation exclusive for a bit, right?
Tumor, yeah, for a long time. Yeah, it wasn't until recently that's been a cross-platform kind of thing.
Yeah. I seen they did like a show on Netflix, like an animated show or something. But then I heard
Yeah,
like Amazon's gonna try and do one, like a live action one. And I'm like, yeah, it needs a TV show, not a movie.
yeah, no, it does. I agree. Yeah. So what games are you playing then? I take it you're a gamer too.
Oh yeah, so I like Cyberpunk. I get really
Oh,
into Cyberpunk 2077. Like I bought it when it first came out and I was mad and got my money back. And then like people were like, you need to jump back in. Like they fixed everything and it's way better now.
I see. I never jumped back in. I was one of you. I tried it out. I was like, this sucks. Never mind.
Yeah, it's one of those like once you actually sit down and like try to like figure out the story and stuff and you get to like you start to, like okay, it's not Grand Theft Auto, but it's still like an open world storytelling. Like it's pretty good.
I'll have to get, all right. I'll have to give it a second chance then.
Yeah, I
'Cause
like that one and I'm a big Red Dead fan.
oh, nice. Red Dead Redemption, man. I love those games.
Uh the only thing that sucks is I hate the online when they try and do online because
Yeah,
you're expecting the story mode just online. And no, everything's either way overpriced and ridiculous, and it's like
yeah.
this sucks. Like, and there's nothing to do there. The only thing
No.
that's cool is you get to create your own cowboy.
Yeah, I got off of that. I wasn't really impressed. Probably early, on the early onset, whenever with it, and I just got off of it. I just played the game, didn't just kind of, Grand Theft style your way around for fun.
Yeah. And GTA Online, like it was cool because like they started putting like the Batmobile in, and like the
Yeah.
DeLoreans and stuff. And like, of course, you had this in when I don't play, and now it's going to take me forever, and I have to spend a lot of money to get that car. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. No, I don't play Fortnite, but I know a lot of people do that, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff in Fortnite for
Oh
people.
my God. Yeah, me and a bunch of comedians, we all play like Fortnite together.
What characters are you using?
Oh, let's see. I have a yellow suit Wolverine. I have a lot of mine are just Marvel characters. I have Gambit. I have Indiana Jones. All those ones. I was like, okay, I'll spend the money to play as that, but I don't care about anything else.
Did you, since you mentioned Gambit, did you watch X-Men 97?
Oh yes.
That was a horrible episode, man.
Oh my
Horrible.
God. I was watching. I was like, they're not. And then when I seen it, I was like, you killed the most popular character. Like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
I was in shock after that. Not, I was like, here I am in shock from a cartoon show. I
Yeah.
was. No, I couldn't believe it.
I really wasn't expecting. And then when I started to see where the story was going, I'm like, oh, they're gonna rip the adamantium out of Wolverine. Like
Yeah.
I'll spoil this because if you haven't seen it yet, you're not really a fan anyway. So you're done. I'm excited for what they do for season two, though, but I think it's gonna be different since they don't have the writer anymore.
Yeah, that writer, all those crazy accusations and stuff about him, and how who knows how much is true, how much is not true. I don't know.
So here's what was weird about it is that I was on Twitter for like a little bit, and they were talking about X-Men 97 when it dropped, and I was like kind of following things. And I was like commenting to someone's post, and I was like, "Yeah, like I read the like online. I was listening to like this YouTuber online. And he was going into like what they knew were facts, and they were like, "Yeah, he was accused of being hard to work with and stuff like that." Here, the dude actually responds to my tweet, and goes, "Where did you hear that at?" And it's
Oh,
actually the writer, like his Twitter like profile responding. So I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, and he like explained it like, "No, there's a lot more that goes in." I was like, "Okay, man, like whatever you say." Like I was just like, I didn't mean to. Like I was just, hey, that's what I heard. I don't know.
oh, damn.
Yeah, but it was like weird that he actually responded, which was like, okay, like I hope this is going to be a creepy DM session here, like, and then
No,
prove the accusations. Like that'd be weird.
yeah, I heard rumors that he was getting very active with fans at one point.
Oh
You
yeah,
were you were just one of the people.
yeah.
So
He didn't like DM me. So, like, I think he didn't like DM me anything weird. It was mostly just that. And then I responded one time. I was like, hey, thanks for the Pittsburgh shout out reference. Like towards the end of the season when they were going into they're like, oh yeah, it's like a small town outside of Pittsburgh. I was like, what?
yeah, I know you're right. I do remember that now. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Was you
Yeah,
a big
I'll,
comic book reader or?
oh yeah. Actually, my oldest son, like, it's crazy. We went from reading Bernstein Bear books to now I'm reading him comic books at night. But
Oh, nice.
so we just got done with the Death of Superman.
Ooh,
Um,
that's a okay. That I respect that. Most people wouldn't even show that to their like kid. Like, no, you're not. You find that one on your own. But no, that is a key moment. Like, yeah, Superman died at one point.
yeah, we that took us weeks to get through. There's a lot because we didn't just do the death of him. We did also the rise of him too, like the whole shebang of that.
Oh yeah, when he comes back with the mullet.
Yep. And then even in between all those other Supermans that came about, like we did that. And then what was the other one? The Nightfall series when Bane breaks Batman's back.
Mm.
We read that one. That took many months to get through that. There's a lot of chapters in there. And then we did what? Geez, we did an X-Men one. Well, one with Phoenix, the Phoenix Saga. We did that one.
Okay. Okay, so that's like a lot of people's favorite story. Not one of my favorites.
Oh,
I
really?
think it's because I watched it as the 90s cartoon as a kid
Yeah.
instead of reading it. And it was a lot of Gene and Scott yelling back and forth. And I was just like, oh my God, kill her already. Like, just get it over with at this point. I just don't care. Like, it was just tired of hearing him yelling.
The best version was the original '90s comic version of the Phoenix. Like the movies did never did it justice. You know that
Hmm.
that '90s comic book episode of the X-Men show. Yeah, I still remember that. Even hell, I even have the toy still, Wolverine in his space outfit.
Ah, nice. That's dope. Because I remember like watching that. Like I was like, man, the spacesuits are kind of cool in this, and yeah, so that I'd be kind of jealous if you had that toy. I'd be like,
Yeah,
oh no, he lost it at my house. Darn.
now I started going back recollecting a lot of my stuff because when I was turned 18, like I had a whole bunch of stuff. My brother is 16 years older than me, so he had the original line of Star Wars, He-Mans, and all that. And then I come along and I have my toys, and it was like this huge toy chest up in the upstairs room. And the week after I graduated from high school, my dad's like, "You want any of this?" I was like, "Nah, I don't care." At that time, I'm 18. I'm thinking about girls and other stuff. I don't care about my toys,
Yeah.
you know. So he goes and takes it all to Goodwill, every single one of them. So I've been recollecting that stuff and then giving to my kids to play with and everything.
Have
Some of
you
them
ever?
I like, nah, they're going on my shelf. I don't want anyone to have these.
You guys have a Comic Con up in Altoona, right? Don't you guys have
Yeah,
Sci-Fi Valley Con?
yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been up there for that?
Oh, yeah. I didn't get the chance to go last year, but yeah, the previous years I've gone every year. Always come out with less money, but yeah. So
That's why I had to stop going because like I would just blow like so much money just on autographs and stuff, and I've been like, all right, well now I got to go pay bills, and I was like, you know what, I'm done.
honestly, this in the Sci-Fi Valley Con, they do a great job of like how they orchestrate meeting the people, the talent there, and getting their autographs and stuff. Like I never was a part of it, but I've been up in Pittsburgh when you guys have it at that what's that complex
Oh,
where
Monroeville.
yeah, Marival in there in that area. I've been to their big ones there, and it's like nuts. And like people are complaining constantly, you don't get enough time. There's like no looking at the artists at all. It's like that's weird. They don't have those rules in the Sci-Fi Valley Con. It's nothing like that.
Yeah, that's what's weird. Like I think when they had Billy D. Williams, like you weren't allowed to actually have a photo with him at the table. You had to buy a professional photo op. Like he wouldn't take
Yes.
pictures at the table, and I'm like, that's weird.
No, they do pictures of the table here in Sci-Fi Valley Con. It's crazy because a lot of it is the same people that you guys get, and it flows over to us. But the roles are different, man. It's weird.
Yeah, but you're also getting a lot of voice actors too. Like, didn't you guys have like almost pretty much the entire Justice League cast, except for Batman?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Yeah,
do
like
get a lot of voice actors. The old stuff like the Animaniacs and the original Ghostbusters cartoon and the Turtle cartoon. Like all of those guys, and a lot of them actually are in all three of them actually.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So
think well, you got Frank Welker, who's like that's the original voice of Fred all the way down to now, and he's like also the voice of Scooby Doo now.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's just that dude's been doing it since the '70s.
yeah. Actually, speaking of that, do you do any voices in your comedy act at all?
Oh yeah, I sneak a few in there. I do Matthew McConaughey
Nice.
because I have this whole like bit about the Calm app. And it was like my favorite like celebrity sleep story on there was Matthew McConaughey's because he puts you to sleep before he actually gets to the story. Like he starts telling two stories at once, and he's like, "I'm gonna read you a story about this little girl looking at the stars." He's like, back in '95, I did this movie called Contact, and it's like this has nothing to do with the story that you're telling. Like it's about him hanging out with Carl Sagan, talking about the stars and life, and it makes no sense. And so I said, I don't know what the actual story is about that he read. He just has that voice.
You do a darn good impersonation of the man.
Yeah, I that came from us watching the Lincoln commercials all the time, and it just would be like, nothing drives better than a Lincoln. Like, and we just kept laughing from that.
There you go, man. That's how you do it.
Do you
It's
do
all
impressions at all?
not much of my act. The only thing I do right now because I did a bit, I have a bit. I'm pretty much done with almost about take my kids to Disney and like I do some Mickey Mouse in there with the bit and some things that he wouldn't say and like that's been especially when I do for whatever reason anytime I bring out the Mickey Mouse voice and have him saying things that Mickey would never say, like people would just eat that shit up, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I mean, even as a kid, like just I grew up watching The Simpsons. So like Homer was an easy one that everyone used to do. Like me and my brother would always do Homer like with each other. And like we'd also like try to do the other voices and too, which is, some of them are outdated. Like especially because of the old episodes we used to watch, like the voices, yeah, maybe not the best to break out one out.
A
Um,
poo.
yeah. That was the easiest one as like to learn. And you're like, yeah, we can't use that one anymore. It's a little rough. And we're like, yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, that voice is on one of the Jerky Boys, their first album. So like that was the easiest voice I could manipulate back then. So I would do that everywhere. But obviously, like you said, it hasn't grown with time doing that
Yeah.
voice.
Just
So,
gotten worse. I was like trying to make a joke like to defend it and it was like, nope, there's no way that I can make it as funny. It's not gonna go well. So we're just gonna not do that.
oh yeah, I've been doing a a new bit making not a lot of places make fun or people in general have made fun of the KKK. So I've been doing that in this 5 minute bit. And it's fun to do in a conservative town where I'm from. I'm not conservative, but like there's a lot of conservative people. So like it's interesting to see some people are cool with it, some people are not cool with it, you
Yeah.
know.
It's like, I'm like, who can be mad making fun of like any hate group? You can't get really mad about that.
Yeah, well there's a huge KKK guess we wouldn't call it group in this town. So
Well, I remember someone said that there was one out like where I grew up at, and I was like, I've never seen this. What are you talking about? And someone's like, yeah, we rolled up like on this like old shed, and it was like, you guys need to leave. And I was like, where? Like, where did you find this? Because like I've never seen this around. Like, this is not a thing. But I don't know. It's weird when you encounter it because you're like, this is why.
well you're up in Pittsburgh. You guys are definitely way more open minded up there than down in like hate to shit at my town, Altoona, PA, but I'm just gonna be honest, man, it's not as open minded.
Yeah, well, I grew up like around Marietta, PA, which is like towards like Waynesburg
Yeah,
area. So it's like the further, I mean, once you start going into West Virginia, you start getting like, I wouldn't say conservatives, you start getting old school Democrats,
yeah.
which those aren't the best ones.
No,
Like my grandfather was one of those old school Democrats and still like used terms that he should not use. I'm like, but he was 90. Like you can't change this guy's mind. Like he's
oh
stuck
yeah,
that way.
yeah.
He's
That
never
generation,
left. What's that?
that generation, they're gonna think like that, man.
Yeah, and he's never left that farmhouse. I'm like, what? Venture out. And even if he'd meet somebody that is like, okay, well, that guy was cool. And I'm like, okay, okay, we're just gonna give up.
Yeah.
Uh, so
So
what's there to do? Like, what do you do? Like, do you film things in your town or?
Uh, I've always I film my sets everywhere I go around here, just so I can watch the feedback and like what did I do right, what did I do wrong. Mostly that's with a lot of new stuff though. Like we don't have a lot of open mics like you guys got. You guys up in Pittsburgh, you got like open mics you can go to what a few once a night at least, right?
Yeah, there's a page on Instagram. I think there's one at least every day except Saturday.
Yeah,
The Saturday one's like hit and miss now, but I think because summer's coming up, they're gonna start it back up again. But
gotcha,
yeah, it's like at a secret comedy club, like secret spot in the city kind of thing.
gotcha. No, ours is either 5 or 6 open mics, and it's once a month for each. That's all we have down here.
Oof, that sounds like Morgantown almost.
So you get 15 minutes because it's so spread out. So that's the positive side. So you can really bulldoze through a lot of material in that time. But yeah, it's usually you get a few minutes at the end of the month. You're trying out 5 different places. Then you do the once a month comedy show we have here in town. Then you try it out and see what it is. So it's more slow burn process than you guys got up there, which you could have a fine tuned set by the end of the week if you really go all the open mics and keep trying.
Oh yeah, I think the record at one is either 6 or 7 open mics in one night. Someone did seven
That
open mics.
was that Derek Minto? I think that was him.
The last, I think it was last year that guys broke it, and it was I think Josh Rittenauer was one of them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think he did six in one night. It was crazy. He was, dude, I'm ready for bed. Like he was the last one you're doing. You're just like, okay,
Crap.
yeah, because it's like as soon as you almost have to call the host like, hey, I'm on my way. I'm trying to hit six in one night, and like as soon as you walk in, go up, get off stage, go.
Yeah. I me and my friends of mine, we went to New York City in 2019. He had a connection up there to help us get on to some local shows there. And nothing not the mainstream comedy clubs, but just local shows around. And we were doing, 6, 7 shows a night, and that was amazing because I felt like I was being a comedian. But I will say it is a killer. Like we're coming back to the hotel maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then like we're getting up like about 9 because we got to go to somewhere else. It started like at 10 a.m. for us and went all the way out for all the whole night. It was crazy.
Oh wow. See, we went to New York, but we didn't get to go check out many of the comedy clubs. I think we went to go see The Stand.
Oh, Stan, yeah, yeah. We didn't get a chance to go there. That wasn't a spot. I wanted to go there just in general, just for the hell of it, but it just didn't fit our schedule.
It
But
was cool. I mean, like it was like kind of cool to be like in New York, like, especially like I said, I grew up in the country all my whole life. So whenever you see New York City, it's like sensory overload to the max.
oh yeah, dude, my one of my funnest times at night was even like doing comedy. It was like 2 something in the morning, and we're there, downtown, heart of the central of New York City, and seeing all the billboards and everything, and no, like really nobody's around that time. We're just sitting on a curb eating pizza and just talking. Like, that was my favorite times up there. It was just the silence of the city was just so cool to see at that moment.
Yeah, and I was like trying to like I was trying to explain to my buddies it's weird because it's like I've been here because I played Spider-Man. You know what I mean? I've been in New York, but it's
Yeah.
like you don't realize how big it is until like you're actually there yourself because like proportions I guess or whatever. But
No, it's so fun, dude. Even the one time we were one of the clubs he booked for us. I apparently it was like auditions to like open for a comedian at the show, and everything there, and we all did it. We got home. That was on a Thursday. We got home on Saturday night. I get a phone call from the booker up there. They're like, "Hey, you won the opportunity. Come up." I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll be there in 4 hours." And she's like, "Oh, I thought you were a local." I'm like, "No, but I still want to do it." And like, "No, it's only going to locals." And that was the end of that.
damn,
It's like shit.
I'll be there in 4 hours. And they're like, no.
That sucked, dude. But
I don't know if I
oh,
could live in that city though. That's the only thing that throws me. Like,
are you more like the country style kind of kid?
it's like I just like being like away from things, but also like kind of close.
I
But
gotcha. Yeah, like the
in there,
suburbs.
you're just near it all the time, and it's like that would drive me crazy.
Oh yeah, it literally never sleeps. You hear music, pumping, whatever, everything else all day long. So imagine having a hotel there, or apartment or what have you, and just like hearing that the jackhammers going all night long because the workers are doing stuff. I don't know if I could do it honestly.
Yeah, it'd be cool, but like for like a little bit. And then after a while, you be like, I can't do this forever.
No,
Um,
either you or that or you just get desensitized to it eventually.
like California would be cool because you're out in the country kind of thing, sort of. Like, yeah, you have LA, but it's like you're not too far from being out in the sticks.
I know a lot of people are going to Austin anymore. A lot of comedians are.
Have you been there yet?
No, I've never been. So you don't know of the guy named Ridge Hirschberger that's been doing. He does the
Yeah,
comedy
I've heard
bar.
it. I met him a couple times.
So he goes down there a lot with that. See that what's her name, Christina Mariani, and she's been breaking out huge. She's been on Kill Tony a lot of times. She was on the first date with what's her name, that podcast.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've heard
He's
the
she
name. I just don't know who it runs it.
forget her name right now, but yeah, she was on with her. She did something with Krista Stefano. So like, she's been getting out there. So like he's like, you gotta come down. We all gotta hang out. So I gotta go down to Austin some point here. Next
Oh
time he
yeah,
get hang out with everybody, do the
I
whole net.
highly recommend going down because we went down in August last year and it was crazy because like you could literally hit mics every day of the week, and it's like most of the time it's just all comics or like a
Yeah.
couple people and that's it. But like it's not really like too crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but
Well,
it was
Scott Reed's apparently moving down that direction.
what's that?
Scott Reed's apparently moving down that direction.
Oh, I haven't. He did not tell me that. I thought he was still going to be in Pittsburgh.
Well, they came to my watch party for my special, and like I found out that night that he's a huge fan of Ghostbusters and a TV show called Psych, like I am. Like, oh shit, dude, we have more in common than just comedy. And then his wife's like, yeah, but we're leaving for Austin in June.
Ah, dang.
Right.
I mean,
Uh,
hey, if that's a good way to get good quick, I feel like, because there's so many opportunities there, and there's so many like comics that you can hang with and get feedback from.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. With having a family and kids here, it's kind of hard for me to move everybody on a whim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would have to be a concrete thing that's going to happen. But it would just, yeah, so I'm stuck here.
Well, that's the only thing I like. Like that was the only like really cool thing about being down there is that when you go down, you see different type of mics. Like they had one mic down there where you would go up and do your set, and then all the comics there had a piece of paper and they were writing like tags for your jokes. And
Oh,
they
that's
would come
awesome.
up there and give you the notes like, "Oh, here's what I would say." And they would like boom, boom, boom. It was actually really cool.
Yeah, I started doing that here in town at the Comedy Farm shows with at least the comedians I know here. I've been doing that with them. Like I just feel like I've been around since 2011, so I kind of feel like the elder statesman. So like so I started doing it, and then they started doing it for me, and it became this awesome thing where we're just helping each other out. So it's cool.
Cool. I just got a notification we have another 10 minutes up. So I don't know how long you're able to go today. I mean, it's up to you.
No, well, I'm fine, man. Only like what time is it? Yeah, I
About
can.
6:40.
Yeah, I could do another 10 minutes here with that, and then I gotta go and help my wife get dinner made here.
Heck yeah. And man, I'd like the opportunity, like, hopefully if we're doing, like, if we're on the same show together or something, I could always bring my stuff there and do it in person, like early before the show, if you're
Yeah,
ever
that'd be
open
awesome.
to it.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'd definitely be open to it. So just always, like you said, it's always a different vibe when someone's actually in the room with you, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I'm still getting used to the Zoom ones because, like, you get a variety, it expands your category of getting guests, but
Yeah.
it definitely doesn't beat that one on one. Like, you're actually hanging with somebody and talking. You can actually, you know, come up with things easier.
Oh, yeah. You can feel off the energy. I know it is. You can feel the energy. Then we can riff more, and then you just feel that vibe. If that makes any sense. But yeah,
Oh yeah, because I mean, I have so much nerdy shit around me. Like, as I say, I got a Captain America statue in the back. I got a couple. Like, I got Wolverine claws. Actually, I usually keep on the desk. Yeah.
nice.
I'm just a big comic book nerd, so I buy this stuff like on Amazon for like $20, and was like, oh yeah, that would look cool up there.
Oh, dude. Yeah, you don't have to tell me about that stuff. I know all about it.
Oh
My
yeah.
kids have way more comic book toys than I ever had growing up. I just continue to spoil them. You know.
I mean, because like some of it's for you. Don't lie. Like you know what I mean.
No,
Like you
no,
want to
it
put the Hulk gloves on and be like, I can't
is.
wait to punch somebody.
Dude, I saw they did this before Christmas. They're doing an anniversary edition of the Technodrome from the Turtles, and I was like, I'm buying this. And my wife's like, for the kids, and I was like, yeah, for the kids.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He
Which
was opening it, so I kept telling the kids on Christmas morning, I'm like, open this one up. You really gotta open this one up. Open this one up, please. Open it up. So they open it up. I'm like, I was more excited than they were, and I started opening the box up and putting it together. So
oh, guys, I got this for you. All right. Don't worry about it. They're like, this is dad's gift, isn't it? To himself, possibly. Leave me alone.
dude, they play with my stuff. Like I'm big on collecting those Transformer crossovers. So I have a Transformer DeLorean car, a Ghostbuster one, Jurassic Park one, and a Knight Rider kit, and even a Turtles car Transformer crossover. Like,
Do you follow any like the comic YouTubers and stuff like that?
no, I never got around. No, not that stuff. No.
Oh, you got to check out. There's a guy. His name's Comics Explained.
I just actually, you know what? I just heard of this recently, but I have not checked it out.
I've been following that guy since I think 2015. Like I've just been listening to like his videos and stuff because he would do like these like he would basically do the entire event. So like they were gonna say, okay, this week we're covering Secret Wars. He would just do the whole video series about Secret Wars and it'd be like a 3 hour episode because he explains, okay, here's why this works because this guy knows this guy, and like he would break down all the back history of people and stuff. And I was like, that's like sometimes people need that.
That's awesome.
But he just
Yeah,
did one. DC did a crossover with Sonic the Hedgehog.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so it's like the Justice League meet the characters from Sonic,
Cool.
and there's a inter, there's an interchange between him and the Sonic and the Flash, where he goes like the Flash says, hey, don't worry if you can't keep up because I'm Speed personified, and Sonic looks at him and goes, oh yeah, then I'm Speed perfected. And it's like it's the most badass cold line to come from somebody like, and it's a Sonic character. It's Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
That's
I always like watching videos like that.
yeah. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I'll definitely get on that one. That sounds interesting. I didn't know. I'm a sucker for crossovers, so I love checking those out.
And I was gonna say, I don't think you're too far from the guy that does these videos. Do you ever hear of the Angry Video Game Nerd?
No, not I have not.
That's like a guy from like the old days of YouTube. Like he was like started off only reviewing Nintendo games, then he eventually started like going after like older games. Check that dude out. I think he's from Philly.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll check that guy out. Yeah, I grew up playing like DOS video games and Commodore 64.
He reviews those games too. Like he does like all the Ninja Turtle games, and he's like, here's one that's from the Commodore era, and it's showing like the graphics and stuff. And was playing like games that were banned, like these Atari games that he's like,
Oh,
oh yeah, this was what's that?
yeah, those adult-oriented ones. Yeah, I've seen clips of them.
Yeah, he goes into it and he'll be like reacting to it and be like, this is a pile of shit, and he'll be screaming like that. But it's like it's this guy's been around for I think the first video is like 2005 or something. That's how long he's been doing. He's still going, pumping new videos out.
I'm sure he's got a lot of subscribers too. Ranking in that money, man.
Yeah, I think they did like because there was that weird period when YouTube was actually giving people like YouTubers money to go and make a movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, YouTube used to have that. What's it called? YouTube Red, where they had the original shows and stuff. That didn't last long.
Yeah, that's where Cobra Kai came from. That was a
Yo, I
you
forgot about that. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then they jumped it over to Netflix.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't think anything else jumped off of that. I think it was just Cobra Kai. I don't think that everything else was just fell flat.
Yeah, I think everything else was just content creators and it just wasn't. But it literally comes from I was looking into this. They said that Cobra Kai came from How I Met Your Mother because when they do the karate when they talk about meeting they wanted Barney to meet the Karate Kid. They introduce him to Ralph Macchio. He goes, "That's not the Karate Kid. The Karate Kid is Johnny Lawrence, and Daniel is actually the bully." And
Yeah.
they took that and said, "What if?" And it just made that show.
Hmm. I don't know if you knew this. Last year there was a Karate Kid 2D scrolling beat 'em up that came out.
Yeah,
To
I did
play.
see that.
I got it. I don't know. It wasn't anything amazing, very repetitive, but
Yeah,
I just thought it was kind of cool to play that. So,
heck
you
yeah.
know.
So we got about 2.5 minutes left. Why don't you tell people where they can find you? If you anything you want to plug, this will come out like towards like May.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can find me online as Scott Kelley Comedian. Unfortunately, if you type in Scott Kelley, a famous astronaut comes up. So he's taken all my space. So you gotta type in Scott Kelley Comedian on Facebook, Instagram. I have a special that's on Prime Video called Word of Mouth, and you can get that on there. You can rent and buy it. I made it cheap as possible, so it doesn't hurt anyone's bank. $5 to buy, $2 to rent. And other than that, just pay attention to my website, scottkelleycomedian.com. You could just find featured tour dates or anything that might be coming up. So
Sweet. Yeah. When I post the episode, I'll post all your links so that way everybody can click it from there. So it should be
Awesome.
able to jump to all that to all your stuff.
That's
But
awesome, man.
yeah, man, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Hopefully we can do one in person. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we'll get some more. It'll be a lot smoother.
No, yeah, I definitely prefer that. I'll get in touch with you. If I see we're on a show up in Pittsburgh, I'll definitely hit you up, man, so we can
All
get
right.
that ahead of time.
Heck yeah, sounds good. All right, man. I'll see
All
you.
right. Yeah. Have a good night.
Yep, you too.